In our next section, we are going to talk about ratios. Okay, so we have to understand like what is a ratio. So topic one is introduction to ratios, and as a definition, we have go to my draw screen. So as a definition, we have that a ratio is a comparison of two quantities. Okay, it expresses how much one quantity is compared to another. There are three ways to write a ratio. So at the heart and soul of a ratio, you're just comparing two things. Okay. Now, we can represent ratios written out using a colon, using just words, or as a fraction. And kind of think this one through. You're in a math class, so it makes the most sense that we would write ratios as fractions, okay? So if we were going to use a colon, we would write something like 3 to 5. We're comparing 3 of something to 5 of that same something. We would write it as 3 colon 5. Now, if we were going to write that same ratio just using words, we would literally put the word 2 in between the two numbers that we're comparing. So we're comparing 3 to 5. Now, as a fraction, if we were going to compare the ratio 3 to 5, we would write the first number as the numerator, the second number as the denominator. And again, this is definitely going to be our preferred method in a math class, okay? So let's just get practice. This is going to be a really short video. We're going to get practice writing out ratios. Okay, so for example one, it says write each statement as a ratio in fraction form. So again, in a math class, your default with ratios should always be a fraction unless told otherwise. Okay. So the directions also say do not simplify. We'll talk about simplifying ratios in the next video. Okay. So for part A, it says Jane earned $7 completing chores compared to John, who earned $8 completing chores. Well, Jane earned $7 compared to the $8 that John earned. So we would literally write this as 7 to 8, or in our case in a math class, 7 over 8. Winnie had 15 dog treats compared to Clover's 11 dog treats. So 15 to 11. And you want to leave it like this, okay? Because we're dealing with a ratio where we have a comparison of two quantities, you need to make sure you maintain a comparison of two quantities. So these need to stay in fraction form. You would never write something like 15 over 11 as a mixed number or a decimal. We just don't do that. We need to maintain the two different parts of this ratio. And then finally, brownies call for 1.5 cups of cups of sugar, excuse me, compared to cookies, which call for 2 cups of sugar. Now, we will learn in the next video how we can simplify ratios, but for now, we're dealing with 1.5 cups of sugar compared to 2 cups of sugar. Okay, so that is it. That is a ratio. Remember, at the heart and soul, it's just a comparison of two quantities. And then, we know how to write them in fraction form. In the future videos, we're going to talk about simplifying them and then talk about special ratios called rates.